What's going on, Cleveland Browns fans? It's your boy JP Football Fanatics here, back with you once again with another record prediction video. This time it is for the Cleveland Browns. Now, the Browns, who yesterday is making a trade for Smith from the Minnesota Vikings. So that's going to be an interesting trade and see like how is that going to really work out for them. So they added just another piece to their defense and a very important and key position there for the Browns. So now they're picking up Zadarius Smith, excuse me, from the Vikings, and now is going to be able to, be able to put a big impact onto this defense. And the biggest question mark really is Deshaun Watson. Is that $230 million guarantee contract for 5 years? Is that going to really pay off for the Browns this year? Are they going to take that step forward? Or are they going to take another step back here yet again and be below 500? Where do you think the Browns are going to end up? This is the 2023-24 NFL season prediction video for the Cleveland Browns. Let me know in the comments down below where you think the Cleveland Browns are going to be this year. If you have not done so already, please be sure to drop a like on this video. Please be sure to also hit that subscribe button and be able to comment down below too as far as other content that you would like to see from me covering moving forward as far as the NFL season goes. I care about you guys. I care about the sport of football. I care about being able to relay the information to all of you guys. And I can't do that unless you guys really help me out with telling me what you want me to cover and taking in the requests and everything like that. And I really care about all that stuff. But you got to let me know. So please do me the favor, help this channel grow, do all the things that I'm asking you to do, and this channel will be bigger and better than what it is already. So let's go ahead with the Cleveland Browns season prediction. So here's the schedule right here for the Cleveland Browns. Now, a quick synopsis about how I feel like the Browns are going to be this year. In a pretty tough AFC North division, I feel like this is going to be one of the, obviously it's one of the toughest AFC divisions, like the AFC East and the AFC West. They have a lot of things, a lot of questions I feel like about the Browns, mostly revolving around Deshaun Watson. Is he going to pick up the pace of where he was a year ago? Is he going to be at that next level to really stand up and be able to play the way that we know that he can play and what he has played when he was in Houston? Let's kind of go ahead and let's get at the analyze the schedule and see where we can go from there. So week 1, you start off the season playing the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, Cleveland has always played the Bengals really, really well. I feel like they've always came prepared. Defensively, they've always matched up. For whatever reason, defensively, they've always matched up very well against the Bengals. Kevin Stefanski's run game has always been really, really special in this game. And as far as the passing game goes too as well, Jacoby Brissett had an amazing game last year. In fact, I believe it was probably the best game of the year for the Browns in terms of being able to play both offense and defense and not just playing like a one-sided offensive shootout or heavily relying more on like Nick Chubb. I think the Browns are going to go ahead and I think they're going to win in week 1. And I also do believe they are going to split with the Bengals this year. I think they should beat them in week 1 at home because this is where the Bengals will kind of start out a little bit slow, a little bit sluggish like they kind of did last year. So I think they'll win in week 1, and then I think the Bengals will come out on top at the end of week 18, and they'll be getting hot around that time frame. So I think the Browns go 1-0 to start off the season. Then in week 2, you have Monday Night Football against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Excuse me. I believe the Browns are around the same, as the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think they're pretty evenly matched, just like with the Bengals. I believe the Browns are going to go ahead and they'll split with the Steelers. I think they'll win in week 2. I think they should be able to win in week 2, or I think they can compete in week 2, and then we can go ahead and say that the Steelers could beat them in week 11, or vice versa. Like I could see the Steelers beating them on Monday Night Football in week 2, and then the Browns going ahead and beat them at home. So maybe that sounds a little bit better. So either way, I feel like the Steelers and the Browns will split with each other this year. Week 3, you play the Tennessee Titans. The Titans are going to be a competitive team, not a great team, but they're going to be a competitive team. I think they're going to be relying heavily more on Derrick Henry in this game. I think the Browns could probably find a way to beat the Titans, but I also think it's going to be a really tough matchup for them in terms of Mike Vrabel's defense, how he's going to want to play this defense, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to kind of leave that game blank for now and go back to it at the end. Week 4, you play the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going to say this right now. I think the Ravens are going to sweep you this year, because I feel the Ravens have done a lot of nice offseason things, in terms of, quarterback. Obviously, they re-signed Lamar Jackson back. He's got a nice weaponry around him with, now that he has Odell Beckham Jr., he's got Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, J.K. Dobbins, if healthy. If everything does work out in the Ravens' favor, right now I could see them sweeping the Browns this year. I think they're a better overall roster than the Browns. Then you go into week 5 into a bye. Then you come off the bye and you got to play the 49ers. The 49ers, I think at this point, probably will have Brock Purdy back, or they could be still rolling with Sam Darnold. I don't know. It really depends on how everything works out. But I think Kyle Shanahan's defense is going to be so much for Deshaun Watson in the passing game, and even the run defense that is excellent for the 49ers. It's going to be really hard for them to beat that. So I think the 49ers will beat them at home. Then in week 7, you play the Colts. I think you should be able to beat the Colts. I feel the Colts could probably pull off some upsets this year. Don't know why. This game probably could be one of them. But I think on paper right now, you should be able to beat them in Indianapolis. I feel like you're more talented overall. I think your roster is slightly better. I think you have a better quarterback play, at least that we know of for now. So I'm going to say that you guys win in week 7. Week 8, you play the Seattle Seahawks. I think the Seahawks are actually sneaky, really good team this year. I think they're going to go in there, especially if you got to play in Seattle. It's not an easy place to play. Geno Smith played at a Pro Bowl year last year, which was something that nobody expected. I think the Seahawks are going to be pretty good. I think they're going to be a lot better than they were last year. So I think the Seahawks will beat you guys in week 8. Week 9, you play the Cardinals. I'll just make that quick and easy. You should be able to beat the Cardinals. There's not anything really that scares you about the Cardinals, especially if Kyler Murray is not playing this year. Week 12, you play the Denver Broncos. This game is another game that could go either way. We don't really know what we're going to see from the Broncos. I don't know if we're going to see them as being like a competitor just yet under Sean Payton. Do we know if Russell Wilson is going to be back on track and everything like that? So, a couple question marks about the Broncos that we're looking at right now. So another game that I probably could see the Broncos winning because it's at Mile High. That's a tough place to play, especially if you are not used to playing in a very tough environment like Denver, especially with the way that you throw the football is never really easy. I mean, just ask Tom Brady. He's played there millions of times and he's always struggled playing there. Any really good quarterbacks could tell you that it's not easy to play there. So that game could go either way for sure. So I think you should be. I feel like you could beat the Broncos. I think there are some things that you probably could do, but I also think it's going to be tough for you too to beat them in Mile High. So maybe I'll actually go with the Broncos for now, but that can change later on, before the season starts too, depending on how like injury reports and the depth chart is going. Week 13, you play the Rams. I think you should be able to beat the Rams. I don't really see this team really being anything spectacular this year. They did have a pretty good draft class, but that's more of like playing for the future. Week 14, you play the Jacksonville Jaguars at home. Another game that's going to be really going either way. Trevor Lawrence versus Deshaun Watson. Doug Peterson's offense versus Kevin Stefanski's offense. I think it's going to go either way. Another game that could really go either way. It's a tough game. You are playing in Cleveland, so that does give you more of an advantage right there too if you're playing in Cleveland and not playing in Jacksonville. So another game, I think it's going to go either way, but I think Jacksonville can beat you in week 14. I feel like Trevor Lawrence, we know what he's going to be like in year 3. I think it's going to be really hard to stop that passing game that they've really improved on, and Travis Etienne and everything else about it. Week 15, you play the Chicago Bears at home. You should be able to beat the Bears. I mean, the Bears have done some nice things in the offseason, but I don't completely trust them yet in terms of really being able to put on the next level. And it's just biggest question mark is going to be about quarterback really and offensive line. Week 16, you play the Houston Texans. The Texans are improved, but I still think you beat the Texans. Just because, Deshaun Watson, revenge again, he's 1-0 against his former team. I think he should be able to beat them again. Not much more to say about it. I think the defense will be better this year. But offensively, they're not going to be able to really get anything started yet under CJ Stroud, who's going to be, I think it's going to be pretty raw this year and very likely going to be starting this season. So, that's a big factor right there that's going to play in there. Then you go to week 17, and then you go back home on a Thursday night to play the Jets. I believe I had you guys beating the Jets this year. So in week 17. So I think you should be able to beat the Jets at home, but don't be surprised if the Jets did come out and beat you guys, though, in week 17. I think it could go either way. And then you're looking at an 8-8 record. So maybe we're kind of looking at right now in week 3 here against the Titans. Should be able to beat the Titans. I think you can beat them. They're a beatable team. I think that Titans defense is still going to be pretty good. It's going to be really hard to stop. So now you're looking at a 9-8 record. Maybe that could push you to the playoff bounds here. Maybe. Maybe there could be a couple of games here, like, for example, like if week 6 comes into play and Brock Purdy is still not there, if Sam Darnold doesn't play very well, I could see you guys going in and beat the 49ers, but I think that's a very low shot there for you to beat the 49ers. Or I could see you guys going ahead and maybe beating the Broncos, and then you could be like 10-7. So I would say like your ceiling for this year, and especially playing in a tough AFC, I think your ceiling probably could be at like 10-7. I think, and then a 9-8 record. And I could definitely see you dropping below that. Like, there's a couple of games in here that you're predicted to win and you're better than some of these teams. Like, I could see you blowing some kind of upsets too, and losing that game, and you could probably drop down to like a 7-10 at the lowest. So, I think 9-8 is a pretty reasonable record for you guys. I don't think you're going to be bad this year. I think you're going to improve. I think Deshaun Watson will get better this year. I think he'll have a better relationship with his receivers. But you play in a tough AFC division. So you're going to have to really, really work hard to be able to win those kind of games with, the big dogs. So what do you guys think about my prediction of the Cleveland Browns? Do you think that I'm a little too harsh? Do you think this is just about right? What do you guys think about the Browns? Do you think they're going to be above 500? Do you think they'll be below 500? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. And before I sign off, guys, please be sure to drop a like on this video. And if you have not done so already, please be sure to hit that subscribe button as well, so that way you can be notified for new NFL content that I have provided here on JP Football Fanatics. The bigger and better that you guys are more involved into my channel, the better that the channel will be. So I can't do it without your help. So please do all those things. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. And with all that being said, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know in the comments where you think the Browns are going to be. It's your boy, JP Football Fanatic, saying peace.